Shooting can feel overwhelming with terms like MOA, cant, or even ballistic coefficient. You know what? These terms get thrown around a lot. These concepts are crucial, but they don't have to be that confusing. So by the end of this video, you'll understand what these terms mean and how they apply to your shooting. So let's break it down. Minute of angle MOA. You've probably heard this phrase 1 MOA at 100 yards equals to 1 inch. But what does that actually mean? MOA or minute of angle is a tiny angular management, just 1/60th of a degree at 100 yards. This translates to, approximately 1 inch. As you double the distance to 200 yards, the same 1 MOA now spans to 2 inches. It really is all about geometry. As the distance increases, the angle stays consistent, but the physical spread grows. In shooting, MOA is crucial for measuring group sizes and adjusting scope. So, for example, if your scope adjusts 1/4 MOA, each click moves your point of impact by 1/4 of an inch at 100 yards. At 200 yards, each click shifts the impact by 1/2 an inch. Mastering MOA is essential for precision shooting, especially at those longer distances. Have you ever missed a shot because your rifle wasn't properly zeroed? Zeroing, ensures that your optics are perfectly aligned, so your point of aim matches your bullet's point of impact at a specific distance. Typically, 50 to 100 yards for most shooters. So here's how you zero your rifle. Start by choosing your desired zeroing distance. I recommend at least 50 yards. Then fire a group of 5 shots and adjust your scope's windage and elevation controls to move the group of your aiming point. Stick with one type of ammunition for consistency, as an even slight variations can impact your results. So remember, environmental factors like wind and altitude can subtly shift your zero. So always recheck before the big day at the range, and think of zeroing as tuning an instrument. So a simple way that you can adjust your scope is when you're looking through the scope and you can see the 10 ring or the dot and your bullet is landing, for example, high. Always remember with your scope, you want to click your scope down. The way I think about it is moving the impact down to the 0 or the X ring. You don't want to bring the X ring up to the bullet. It just doesn't work that way. So the easy way to remember is bring your bullet impact down to your aiming point or the dot or the X ring or the 10, whatever you want to call it. So that's the way that I remember it. Ever noticed your reticle shifting when you move your head behind the scope? Well, this is parallax, a common issue that occurs when the reticle and target aren't aligned on the same optical plane. This misalignment can throw your shots off, and particularly at those longer distances when precision matters the most. So thank you for your question about parallax. Sarah Davis 7136. Right? And she says, I understand the physical concept of parallax, but struggles to know how to adjust a scope to eliminate the effect. I'd love some information for a beginner like myself at 50 meters Benchrest. Do I need to consider it at all? Some online searches suggest not. If I want to adjust for it, how do I know when my scope is set correctly? Any help would be greatly appreciated. So neglecting parallax can lead to larger group sizes and missed shots. So it is really worth your time to make sure this is correct. Regularly test and adjust, especially when shooting at varying distances. So most competitions, you'll go from 50 to 100 meters. So you want to make sure your parallax is set every single time, and you'll see improved accuracy. So how to set parallax with a focus ring. Parallax adjustments can significantly improve accuracy, and using the focus ring effectively is the key to achieving this. To follow these steps and align your reticle on the target on the same optical plane. So first of all, check your reticle focus. This is one of the most important steps to setting up your scope, because every single shooter's eyesight is different. Proper reticle focus ensures the reticle appears sharp and crystal clear for your particular unique vision. And of course, it eliminates eye strain and improving accuracy. So how to adjust the reticle focus? So first of all, you need to do is have your scope looking straight up into the clear blue sky. I believe this is the most easiest and effective way. Next thing is to locate your focus ring. Most of the time on scopes, it is at the rear of the scope. It is the ring that is where your eye normally looks through. What you can do is move that ring in and out. So make sure when you're looking through your scope, only look for a couple of seconds, come off, look again. Why I'm saying this is because your eyes can get used to a blurry focus. And if you're looking through your scope for long periods of time, your eye will automatically adjust to that blurry sort of focus. So you want to make sure that you check it very quickly. So, jump on there, have a look through your scope very quickly, come off, go back there again, so your eye does not get used to that blurry crosshair. Next thing you want to do is adjust your focus ring. You might need to bring it in, you might need to bring it out. Every single person is different when you're going through this step. Look, it will take you 3 or 4, 5 goes to make sure that the focus ring is crystal clear when looking through the scope. So next step is to stabilize your rifle. So once you got it all set up, most competitions you'll have roughly 5 to 10 minutes to get all your equipment set up, sit down, comfortable, and you're almost ready to go. Take this time, look through your rifle scope at your target. Now, this is the time that you can adjust your parallax. So most scopes, you'll find the parallax knob on the left-hand side of the scope. Other scopes, like a Night Force scope, you might find the focus ring towards the front of the scope. It's like a oversized focus ring, but on the other end. This is when you can adjust it. Now, a lot of these scopes, they do have distance markings on it. For my particular case, I've never found those distance markers correct. So on my Athlon scope, for my eyes, I actually have my parallax ring or knob or whatever you want to call it dialed to roughly around about 45 to 42 meters. That is where it looks the best. And when I wiggle my eye around, that parallax and the scope reticle does not move. So take your time. When you're at your practice sessions, take your time at adjusting at different distances, so then you understand exactly where your setup is on your particular rifle and your particular scope and your eyesight, because as I said, every single person's eyesight is different. So take your time, and once you learn exactly where your rifle is for those distances, you can easily adjust it very, very quickly, even before you even get on the line. Most of the time you'll have your rifle on a rack. You can adjust your parallax knob even on the rack, and you know that you're pretty much set up, ready to go. So what is free recoil and how does it impact shooting? So free recoil is a shooting technique where the shooter minimizes the physical contact with the rifle during a shot, allowing the rifle to move freely under its own natural recoil. This is the technique that I use, and I believe it is the most successful for me. So this method is commonly used in Benchrest and precision shooting disciplines, where maintaining a consistent and repeatable shot placement is crucial. So how does free recoil work? Well, minimum contact. The shooter avoids pressing the shoulder against the rifle stock. Instead, the rifle rests primarily on the front rest and rear supports. Only light contact with the trigger hand or cheek is applied to maintain control without restricting the rifle's movement. Recoil dynamics. So when the shot is fired, the rifle is allowed to move backwards naturally, absorbing the recoil energy without the influence of the shooter. So you think about it, when you shoot, the rifle's going to hit your shoulder, and what's going to happen sometimes is when that recoil hits your shoulder, your rifle actually might just pop a little bit, lifting the front of the rifle up, which can impact accuracy. Now, obviously, these are very micro movements, but in the world of precision shooting, you want to make sure you eliminate every single variable. That's why we use free recoil technique. What does DOPE mean in shooting? Well, DOPE stands for data on previous engagements. So I received a question from country Rimfire. DOPE, I still don't understand it fully. This, I know what it means, but I don't fully understand how you collect it. So great question there, country Rimfire. Collecting DOPE is all about systematically gathering data from your shooting sessions. Start by shooting at known distances, say 50, 100, and 200 yards, and record your scope settings, elevation, and windage for every single distance. Note that the conditions like wind, speed, temperature, and ammo type. Over time, you'll build a reference that you can use to make accurate adjustments in similar conditions. Think of it as your personalized cheat sheet for hitting targets consistently. Exactly the same as when you're setting parallax. You want to take your time, learn those particular conditions and styles. That way you have a memory or you have a logbook that if you encounter those conditions again, you can simply refer to it and make those adjustments quickly. Now that you understand these terms, take them to the range and you'll see the difference for yourself. If you got any questions about anything that I've covered today, please let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more tips. And if you have any more questions or you want to learn more about Benchrest shooting, make sure you check out this video.